there's a new framework when we're looking at Indo-US, India-US defense framework and technology transfer. A new framework has been finalized between Rajnath Singh, the defense minister, and his counterpart, Austin J. Lloyd. How are you looking at it? And when we're looking at India's rising stature in the global south, in the South Pacific, India-US bonhomie is something that people are crucially looking at.
Well, Kabir, if you look at how US has agreed to share technology with us or tech transfer, let me just bring in what the Tribune has in fact written on it. So what it says is that the cooperation would be for the production of aircraft engines, aircraft launched missiles, fighter jets, armed drones, submarine tracking systems and unmanned undersea technology. Okay, and specific proposals could provide India access to cutting-edge technology. Now, there is only one country that has been fulfilling our cutting-edge technology demands. In fact, two countries to an extent. One is Russia and the other is Israel, where we are looking at transfer of technology. France has been trying to get into the Indian defense market for quite some time and have been promising TOTs, but we have only had the successful Rafale deal at the latest, and probably we were also looking at the submarine deals, but then the Scorpion issue had become kind of sour as much of its details were leaked online because of industrial rivalry. But here with the US, India had been looking for the similar kind of transfer of technology kind of a system of cooperation with the US as well, but US had been restricting India on many bases. In fact, there have been stages at which they never allowed us to use dual use technology was never given to us, which would have a civilian use as well as that's a dual use technology. Well, civilian use would be there as well as when it comes to the issue about using it for military reasons as well. So there has been a big clampdown on that for quite some time. But right now, the US seems to be opening its defense technology with some of its partners in the Indo-Pacific region. But with India, it's not as the way it's supposed to have opened, because still the US seems to be having a lot of reservations when it comes to having state-of-the-art equipment or details shared with India. You remember AUKUS, right? Australia, United States and the United Kingdom coming together. Now, they came together as an alliance in which India is not there, Japan is also not there. In that, what was the reason that they came on this so-called Anglo alliance, which I would call Anglo-American alliance, that I would like to call it? The reason is because they had to share nuclear technology with Australia. So, it was a close
the idea
system,
of what is a military pact and what is not a military pact.
So, but here the idea was that it could have been shared within the Quad, but then India and Japan would also be in the picture, so they didn't want that to happen. So they made another system within a system to share cutting-edge nuclear technology with Australia, so that they can use it and keep some of the Chinese encroachments on this or at sea at bay, and to ensure that
but
patrolling is
irrespective
also
of who it favors more in terms of the members of those particular pacts, be it the Quad, be it the AUKUS, visuals like these, I mean, Prime Minister Narendra Modi or the Defense Minister going to, let's say, Washington, or their counterparts coming back here, you've Anthony Blinken in India, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar sharing, a nicely diplomatic room with Anthony Blinken, that particular fanfare. All of this really irks China. And China is looking at all of this happening.
Well, it does irk China, and we have to in fact look at our options, because China has been very belligerent at our borders. It's not only they have been belligerent at our land borders, they have also been belligerent by trying to ensure that our sphere of influence has been taken over by China. They have in fact made our neighbors more unstable with their loans that they have been giving them, and they may you know how they try to play Nepal against India and how they've been trying to play Sri Lanka against India. They are also have tried to play Maldives against India. These are our traditional allies and these are our traditional areas of influence. So China has been in fact trying to be belligerent with India for quite some time, and of course we need to in fact explore those alliances as possible. But how much of an alliance are we looking at? For example, when we wanted cutting edge technology, when it comes to our aircraft, we have a shortage of the number of squadrons that we require for a two-front war. We have a huge shortage when it comes to that. We've been trying to address that shortage by having this quick fix program of trying to get the Rafales.
We don't even have the latest generation.
Yeah, we don't
of
have we are probably in that 4++ generation. We are yet to have a 5th generation. We are still trying to reach that kind of and now the world is in fact exploring on 6th generation aircraft. So the Indian Air Force has got a lot of legacy aircrafts with them. Most of them from the Soviet Union and from Russia are and also the availability of these aircraft or turnaround time of these aircraft is also to be looked at. And what kind of aircraft was being in fact offered to us? We wanted cutting edge technology, but we were offered some of the legacy aircraft from the Americans itself. They were offering us the F-16s, and they said there will be a different version, and they repackaged it for India version, calling it the F-22, and tried to sell that to us. But the entire system is from the 1970s and 80s, and though the new electronic systems was something that they wanted to upgrade, but that has not been the kind of systems that we are looking. We are looking for the next generation 5++ or 5+ generation of aircraft is what we are looking at. But still, this is a big step that we have to take when it comes to the US, if they are still ready to go that extra mile to share the technology that we require. We are ready to, in fact, it looks like the industries in India are also ready to manufacture US aircraft as such. So let's see how the US in fact responds to this. On paper, it looks like a good deal, but this is nowhere close to what we have with Russia.
Oh, is that so?
Because the Russians have been...
I understand that India is the biggest importer when it comes to military prowess. We really take...
Or even with Israel. There is nothing close to what we have with Israel also. The kind of agreements and the kind of technology
transfer. But isn't it important to have
joint production that we have with Israel?
The United States? I mean, some of those visuals out there, it gets a little funny for me as well, because you want to put the idea out there that, these heads of two states are really meeting with each other. But those shake hands and those hugs get a little too much.
See, I'll tell you this distrust.
And I'll tell you what, Austin J. Lloyd's a big man.